In 1974, Congress passed a law to protect your drinking water. The Safe Drinking Water Act gave the EPA authority over public systems, not private wells. But within a decade, municipal codes across the country started requiring hookup to city water. Anywhere a line ran past your house. The utilities got a captive customer. Your grandfather's well got capped. The CDC says private wells can provide safe drinking water if properly constructed and maintained. The USGS says 43 million Americans still get theirs from one. Here are 9 methods your county doesn't want you using, and the physics of why they work anyway. I'm Max. Today on Outfox Apocalypse, 9 water sources that cost you $0 a month after setup, that your utility bill doesn't want you finding, and that your grandfather used before someone convinced him he needed permission to dig a hole. Pay attention. Number 9 matters if you garden. Number 3 kept families alive through the Dust Bowl. And number 1, the reason all 8 exist, I'm saving for last. Number 9, the laundry diversion, gray water to the garden. Your grandmother in the 1930s ran a pipe from the wash tub straight out the kitchen wall and into the tomato patch. No storage tank, no filtration. Just yesterday's laundry water feeding today's vegetables. It kept the garden green through the worst of the Dust Bowl on nothing but wash water that was going down the drain anyway. Cost her the pipe. 15 cents in 1935. Here's what happened. Most state plumbing codes in the 1970s and 80s classified every drop of household water as sewage. Required a discharge to septic or municipal system, not federal law, state, and local. And the utilities getting paid by the gallon didn't fight it. The Los Angeles County Department of Public Health in 2011 wrote in their own guidance that a properly designed gray water system can safely irrigate a landscape and cut potable use by 30%. The garden knew what to do with it. The city just wanted its cut. Now here's the physics. Gray water from your washing machine, detergent, dirt, fabric lint is not sewage. Sewage is black water, toilet waste, pathogens. Gray water from laundry has surfactants and mild soil contamination. Your tomato plant doesn't care. It's been filtering worse since the Permian. What you don't run to the garden is kitchen sink water, grease, food particles, high biological oxygen demand. That clogs soil. Laundry water, shower water, bathroom sink, that's gray water. Straight to the garden. Check your county code first. Some states now allow gray water irrigation with a simple permit. Some still call it illegal. But the pipe your grandmother ran in 1934, the one that saved her tomatoes through 3 years of drought, that physics hasn't changed. Number 8. The stone refrigerator, springhouse cooling. Before your great-grandfather owned a Frigidaire, he built a small stone shed over the coldest spring on his land. Water flowed through a stone trough. Crocks of milk, butter, and cream sat right in the current. Held them at 42 degrees Fahrenheit straight through July. No compressor, no electricity, just water, stone, and gravity. Never a bill. General Electric in the 1920s ran ads calling the icebox the housewife's shame. By mid-century, the springhouse looked old-fashioned, but the University of Vermont published a study in 2013 on off-grid cold storage. Confirmed that spring water in a shaded stone structure holds refrigeration temperatures year-round. Water doesn't lie. Stone doesn't either. Here's how it works. Cold springs come from deep aquifers. Water temperature underground stays constant, usually between 40 and 55 degrees, depending on your latitude. Doesn't matter if it's July. The spring outputs the same 42-degree water. Flowing water has thermal mass. Your butter sits in a crock, half submerged. Conduction pulls the heat out through the ceramic. Evaporative cooling from the surface of the water pulls more. The structure itself, stone, thick walls, low ceiling, shaded by trees, prevents solar gain. It's a passive refrigerator. no moving parts. If you have a spring on your property, you have cold storage. If you don't have a spring, you can't build a springhouse. But if you do, and 43 million private well users might, the same principle that kept your great-grandfather's milk fresh in 1920 will keep yours fresh in 2026. Number 7. The buried reservoir, cistern collection. Your grandfather in the 1930s dug a hole, poured a concrete tank, and ran gutters from the roof to an underground reservoir. Every inch of rain that hit the roof went into storage. The USDA Farmers Bulletin 1418 from 1930 ran the numbers. A 1,000-square-foot roof in 30-inch rain country delivers 18,700 gallons a year, free. Then the utilities came. Colorado's prior appropriation water law made rainwater collection technically illegal. The reasoning was that irrigation districts and municipal water utilities held the rights to that water before it hit your roof. Not public health. Revenue. Senate Bill 09080 in 2009 partially repealed it. Utah followed in 2010. The Environmental Protection Agency's 2013 Green Infrastructure Guidance says rainwater harvesting is a simple and effective practice to reduce potable water demand. Your roof, their water. That's how it stood for 80 years. Here's the physics of why cisterns work. Rain is distilled water, evaporates from the ocean, condenses in clouds, falls on your roof. It's not sterile, picks up dust, pollen, bird droppings from the shingles, but it's low in dissolved solids. You can filter it, store it, drink it. A buried cistern stays cool. Concrete is thermally massive. Underground temperature is constant. No algae growth in the dark. No evaporation loss. First flush diverters, simple mechanical valves, dump the first few gallons of each rain event, the dirtiest water that washes the roof. The rest goes into the tank clean. 18,000 gallons off a modest roof. That's enough to flush toilets, water a garden, wash clothes for a family of 4 for half a year. Check your state law. If it's legal, the cistern your grandfather buried in 1932, same design, still works. Number 6. The barrel economy. Rainwater barrels. Simpler than a cistern, cheaper, faster to set up. Your downspout empties into a 55-gallon drum. Drum has a spigot at the bottom. You open the spigot, water your garden. Costs you the drum. $15 used, $25 new. The EPA's 2013 guidance on green infrastructure calls rainwater harvesting simple and effective. But check your state first. Some states allow rainwater collection for garden irrigation but prohibit potable use. Some allow both. Some, until recently, allowed neither. Here's what the barrel does. 1 inch of rain on a 100-square-foot section of roof yields 62 gallons. That's one moderate rainstorm. 1 barrel. Enough to water a 20-by-10 garden bed for a week in summer. 4 downspouts, 4 barrels, you're harvesting 250 gallons per inch of rain. The barrel doesn't purify the water, it just stores it. If you're using it for irrigation, you don't need purification. If you're drinking it, you need filtration. We'll get to that in a moment. The reason utilities don't like rain barrels isn't safety. It's the gallon you didn't buy. Your grandfather set up rain barrels in 1920 because it was free water falling from the sky. In 2026, it's still free water falling from the sky. The only thing that changed is someone wrote a law saying the sky wasn't yours. We're halfway through. So far, gray water to the garden, legal in some counties, saves 30% of your potable use. Springhouse cooling. If you have a cold spring, you have a refrigerator. Cisterns and rain barrels. 18,000 gallons a year off your roof if your state allows it. Now let's talk about making that water safe. Because rain off a roof isn't sterile, gray water isn't potable, and your grandfather didn't just collect water, he knew how to clean it. Number 5. The Gravity Clinic. DIY sand filtration. Your great-grandfather in rural Kenya or rural Alabama filled a barrel with layers, gravel at the bottom, coarse sand in the middle, fine sand on top. Poured water in, let gravity pull it through. Came out the bottom clear. The CDC and the World Health Organization have approved point-of-use sand filtration for decades. Biosand filters are distributed in developing countries by the millions. Same principle your great-grandfather used. Here's the physics. Water flows down through the sand bed. The top few inches of sand develop a biofilm, a living layer of bacteria and microorganisms that eat organic contaminants. It's called the Schmutzdecke, German for dirty layer. That layer traps particles, digests pathogens, and removes turbidity. Below that, the sand itself is a mechanical filter. Pore size between sand grains is small enough to catch suspended solids and some bacteria. At the bottom, gravel prevents clogging and supports the sand bed. Charcoal, activated carbon, can be added as a fourth layer. Adsorbs chemicals, improves taste. A 5-gallon bucket system with 3 inches of gravel, 6 inches of coarse sand, 6 inches of fine sand, and 2 inches of charcoal on top will filter rainwater or gray water down to safe turbidity for garden use. For drinking, you need a tighter filter or a second pass. But for washing, irrigation, toilet flushing, sand filtration gets you there. Cost you the sand and the bucket. $10. The biofilm takes a week to establish. After that, it runs on gravity. No electricity. No cartridges to replace. Your great-grandfather built these in 1920. The WHO is still distributing them in 2026. The physics didn't change. Number 4. The well audit. Water quality testing. If you're running a private well, you need to know what's in it. The Safe Drinking Water Act of 1974 regulates public systems. It does not regulate your private well. That means no one is testing it but you. The CDC says test private wells annually. Bacteria, nitrates, heavy metals. Here's what you're testing for. Coliform bacteria, indicator of fecal contamination. E. coli means sewage is getting into your aquifer. Nitrates, from fertilizer runoff or septic leach fields. Anything over 10 parts per million is unsafe for infants. Can cause methemoglobinemia. Blue baby syndrome. Arsenic, naturally occurring in some regions, leaches from bedrock. Long-term exposure is carcinogenic. Lead from old pipes or solder. Neurotoxic, especially in children. Your county health department often offers free or low-cost well testing. Mail-in kits run $20 to $60 depending on what you're testing for. If you're off-grid and your water source is a hand-dug well, a cistern, or a spring, you need to know what's in it before you drink it. Your grandfather tested his water by not dying. That's a slow test. You've got faster options now. Use them. Number 3. The cast iron independence. Hand-dug well with pitcher pump. Iowa, 1915. Your great-grandfather dug a 20-foot well with a shovel and an auger. Lined it with fieldstone. Set a cast iron pitcher pump on top. 5 gallons a minute with a moderate arm. 50 to 100 gallons a day for the whole family. The USDA Farmer's Bulletin 941 from 1917 is where those numbers come from. Then, in 1974, Congress passed the Safe Drinking Water Act. Gave the EPA authority over public systems. Not private wells, but municipal codes across the country began requiring hookup to city water, where a line ran past the house. Utilities got a captive customer. The well got capped. The CDC in 2015 says private wells can provide safe drinking water if properly constructed and maintained. The United States Geological Survey says 43 million Americans still get theirs from one. That's not a fringe number. That's 1 in 8 Americans. Here's the physics of the hand-dug well. You dig until you hit the water table. That depth varies by region, 10 feet in some places, 50 in others. You line the shaft with stone or concrete to prevent collapse. You set a pump at the surface. The pitcher pump is a suction pump. Leather or rubber gasket creates a seal. You pull the handle, piston rises, suction pulls water up the pipe. You push the handle, piston descends, water flows out the spout. No electricity. No moving parts except the piston. A well-maintained pitcher pump can run for 50 years. Your great-grandfather's well in 1915 delivered 50 gallons a day. That's enough for drinking, cooking, washing, and limited irrigation for a family of 4. Modern building codes in most states allow private wells. You need a permit. You need to meet setback requirements, distance from septic, property lines, surface water. You need to test the water. But it's legal. 43 million people are doing it. If the city cuts you off, or if you're building off-grid, the well your great-grandfather dug in 1915, same design, still works. Number 2. The membrane off-grid. Reverse osmosis filtration without electricity. Reverse osmosis removes 95 to 99% of dissolved solids, heavy metals, bacteria, viruses. It's the gold standard for water purification. Most RO systems require water pressure, 30 to 60 psi, which usually means an electric pump. But gravity-fed RO systems exist. You need height. 15 to 20 feet of elevation gives you the pressure differential to push water through the membrane. Here's the physics. Osmosis is the movement of water across a semi-permeable membrane from low solute concentration to high. Reverse osmosis is the opposite. You apply pressure to force water from high solute concentration, contaminated water, through a membrane that blocks dissolved solids, leaving pure water on the other side. The membrane pore size is around 0.001 microns. That's small enough to block salts, heavy metals, nitrates, bacteria, viruses, and most organic molecules. Larger than a water molecule, it doesn't pass. A gravity-fed system works by placing your water source, cistern, rain barrel, well, at elevation. Water flows down through the RO membrane by gravity. The pressure differential from 15 feet of height is about 6 psi. That's marginal for most RO membranes. They're rated for 30, but slow-flow membranes designed for low pressure can work. Flow rate is slow, a few gallons per day, but for drinking water, that's enough. You still need to replace the membrane annually. Costs $40 to $80 depending on the model. But no electricity, no pump, just gravity, height, and a membrane that knows chemistry doesn't care about your utility bill. Remember the method I teased at the start? The one I said I'd save for last? Here it is. Number 1. The grid exit. Why they wanted you to forget. Every method I just walked you through, gray water, springhouse, cisterns, rain barrels, sand filters, well testing, hand-dug wells, RO filtration, they all have something in common. After initial setup, they cost you $0 a month. Your grandfather used everyone, then someone sold you a bill. The average American household water bill is $70 a month. That's $840 a year. 30 years of paying that bill, $25,000. Municipal hookup fees when you build a new house, $3,000 to $15,000, depending on the county. Just to connect. Then the meter starts running. Your grandfather's method cost him the shovel, the stone, the pump, and his back. After that, zero. Here's what changed. In 1936, Congress passed the Rural Electrification Act. The federal government subsidized utilities to run lines into rural America. General Electric, Frigidaire, and the rest came selling appliances. Extension bulletins stopped teaching hand-dug wells, root cellars, springhouses. The knowledge went into a museum. By 1965, if you wanted water, you called the city. The city sent a bill. The physics didn't change. The business model did. Utilities make money per gallon metered. The more you use, the more they earn. A household that collects rainwater, recycles gray water, and pulls from a private well, that's a household that isn't buying water. The utility doesn't get paid. That's why Colorado banned rainwater collection. That's why municipal codes require hookup even if you have a well. It was never about safety. The CDC says private wells are safe. The EPA says rainwater harvesting works. It's about the gallon you didn't buy. Your grandfather knew that. Now you do too. So here's what you do. 43 million Americans get their water from a private well. That's not illegal. That's not even unusual. Your county might require a permit. Your state might restrict potable use of rainwater to garden irrigation only. But the methods your grandfather used, they still work. Check your county code. Look up your state's rainwater harvesting laws. Call your local health department and ask about private well permits. Then decide. Start with one method. Rain barrels are the easiest. $15, one afternoon, done. Gray water diversion if you garden. A sand filter if you're collecting rainwater and want it cleaner. A well if you're building off-grid and the water table is shallow. One method, one step, then another. Because here's the truth. A bird born in a cage doesn't know what it should be fighting for with its life. But a bird that remembers the sky, that bird knows. Your grandfather remembered. The well, the cistern, the springhouse, the rain barrel. Those weren't prepping. They were life. They still are. The only thing that changed is someone convinced you that you needed their permission to dig a hole and catch the rain. You don't. Check your code. Pick one method. Start this week. Stay safe. Max out.